Would you pray with me, please? O God, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of all of our hearts be pleasing and acceptable to you this day, for you are truly our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Nan Merrill, I've referenced her several times in this last year in particular, as she rewrites her own interpretation of Psalm 98, in part brings these words to us, not that different from what you heard Mike read earlier. But she writes, by the strength of your indwelling presence, we too are called to do great things. We are set free through love's forgiveness and truth. I can't help but focus on those words on this Mother's Day, but also as we continue in this Easter season, focusing on called to do great things, as families do, often when they can, bring great things into the world as they develop and redevelop themselves throughout time, and being set free through forgiveness and truth, built on relationships. And that is not true only for us, you and me, but also true for us and God. Building and rebuilding, always creating anew. And so I'm grateful again for Nan and her interpretation and the word, at least, that she brings to me. The text for today, whether it's Psalm 98 or this portion, small portion of the 15th chapter of the Gospel according to John, invites us to break through the boundaries, the walls, the circumstances and situations that we're in. Now, I know that's not always easy, but the invitation is there for us anyway. Break forth this day. Lift up life through your heart. Don't try to figure it all out ahead of time. It is the heart that leads in matters of faith and matters of living. And so we have these voices in the psalm talking about all of the musical instruments and all coming together in this harmony, if you will. Each one heard, each one valued. I believe that's very important for us today as we think about moving in any direction in our life here in Las Vegas or as far away as North Carolina or across an ocean or two, wherever you are. This notion that your voice is needed so the representation of the whole might be complete. And that in that offering of yourself, the world is a better place. In that offering of yourself, you become a part of the dance. You can see yourself as valued and whole. So those are some of the invitations that these texts have for us today. The dance of life, this breaking forth out into creation, out into the world, allows us to see life as continuing instead of stopped because of circumstances. Our lives, I believe, are a series of intersections, a series of weavings, if you will. I brought a few, and some of you have seen some of this before. A little weaving loom that I learned to use at a retreat some years ago. And you can see just the beginnings of my yarn going through the threads that are here and my stick that causes the pressure to bring the threads together. Each one of the intersections with these yarns, the same as the intersections in the stole that I have on, which again is woven, each one is a representation of a coming together, is a representation of how God works in and through the spaces and places and stages of our life. And therein lies the miracles, right? Therein lies all of the hopes and dreams we have for future. Therein lies the possibility of creation being made new. When I first learned to use this weaving loom, this is the little gal that I made. Her dress is what was woven on that loom. If you can see it, it's red. And then I have added hair and feathers and, of course, rainbow colors representing my understanding of the wholeness of creation. Who knew that out of these sticks and pieces of yarn, something could be created? Now, I'm not an artist in this way by any means, but it is just a way to represent, I think, for each of us, the possibilities if we would just be open to the intersections of life. Perhaps you became acquainted with somebody meeting at a coffee shop. I have a friend I have common values with, and that came out of a discussion about both of our grandmothers making from scratch cinnamon rolls, melted caramel through them when we were children. An intersection that if we hadn't been present and paying attention may never have happened. Small intersections like my second grade teacher, Mrs. Warsaw, who became friends with my mom for years because my teacher asked my mom about my dresses. Mom had made all of them, and my teacher wanted to make similar dresses for her grandchildren. You see, it is those small places in life where we begin to build new relationships, where new creation is always a possibility, where then, through God, anything might happen. It is that breaking forth and removing the boundaries, the barriers that we think are there. The book, actually, where this weaving comes from is called The Art of Weaving a Life. And in the beginning of the second chapter, this is written: "We are woven together by invisible threads," meaning you and I, energetic fields of blooming possibilities. As a creator, what do you envision? Can you see the cosmic cloth? It is your weaving, your dance, weaving on the warp of your life. What is the fabric of your story? Can you hear the questions that we've been asking through this whole series in that brief little question and quotation? Can you see the cosmic cloth? Can you see even the cosmic Christ, our understanding of how Christ still moves in and through our world 2,000 years after the death on the cross? Can you see the weaving that comes alive through how we participate in the life of the church? The prayers of the people, the liturgy of worship, the mission of our hands and our pocketbooks. The intersection. What is the intersection of your life? How does it connect from threads and yarns into something else. The possibilities are endless. Hear Jesus with these words, "Abide in me. I will use the word friend," this is Jesus speaking, not servant, "because I want you to love so deeply you never miss the connection that's there." Never. That's what he's asking of us as friend. Don't ever miss the human connection that has the possibility of being there. There's a quotation that keeps showing up on my Facebook feed. You cannot look into the eyes of anyone anywhere to the eyes that God sees and always loves. Every set of eyes. Imagine that. As we weave our lives together as friends, there is a birth, a new creation. Joy may be complete. That's what our text offers us. Yes, in this depth of intersection of life, joy may be complete. So break forth into the new patterns, whatever they might be for you. Whatever God may be introducing you to. These aspects of love, whether they're hidden or out in the open, are different for each of us and yet so similar. The sun breaks through the dance of threads, of grasses, of our lives. Beloved friends, break through with them. Break through with love. Bring order and balance to creation. Amen.